Good afternoon. On behalf of FDDI management, I welcome and all the participants, students, faculties, HOD, HOS, and guests in the workshop. We are truly delighted with your presence. We all have gathered here today to attend this workshop based on enhanced IPR related knowledge. On this theme, intellectual rights need importance, filing acquisition with the case study. Before we carry on this event, I would give my regards and appreciation to all the people who made this occasion a reality and this institution successful. This could not have been possible without the sheer contribution of you all. We are the part of this institution due to our shared passion for the vision of this institution. Our passion unites us and our hard work strengthens the institution. On that note, let me introduce and welcome guest and Mr. Speaker, Mr. Nahid Alam. He is a joint director, Mr. Nahid Alam is a joint director and head IPR Council, ASSOCHAM, the Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India, currently heading major policy area including the manufacturing and capital goods, ease of doing business, WTO, trade and investments, IPR Council, MSME Development Council, quality and productivity, leather and footwear, sports and infrastructure at ASSOCHAM. And speaker of today's event is Mr. Vijay Kumar Shivpuje. He is a director, Paltex Business Solutions, a knowledge process outsourcing firm practicing and patent and design. IPR lead, IPFC Assocham, New Delhi. He is a mentor of change with the Government of India, Niti Aayog, Atal Thinking Lab. He is also a mentor, Startup India, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. He is also co-founder, Pharma Literati and Outline Education Initiative, which is a working actively in area of pharmaceutical education and have collaborated with various institutions and universities for all skill-based activities. He is registered patent agent also for Indian Patent Office. His M Pharmacy, having a degree of M Pharmacy and LLB. He having 16-year plus experience in the pharma corporate, law firm and consultancies. He has conducted 100 plus IPR awareness programs at universities, college, bar associations, incubation centers, customer office, industry chambers and MSME. Without any further delay, I would like to start with the events. We would be delighted to have your suggestions and questions at the end of the event. Enjoy the event. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. After lunch session, lazy one, Vijay bhai, you have to do hard work. Thank you so much, sir, giving this opportunity to organize this workshop jointly. And this is the first occasion where we collaborate. And coming months or days, we can say that we are going to engage more in different domains. Mic काम करो, mic काम, mic, got it? How many of you are aware of ASSOCHAM? Can you raise hand? नौकरियां नहीं चाहिए इसका मतलब किसी को. It looks, yeah. Okay. ASSOCHAM is an organization 102 years old. We do policy advocacy in different domains. Almost 80 domains we have, I think. We have almost 80 domain, and one of the domain is leather footwear and accessories as well. And I am heading that department, including IPR as well. Uh, in each domain, we do policy advocacy with the government, either it is a central government or a state government or independent authorities, different point of time. Uh, Capacity building and which is a part of this workshop. We do capacity building activities to develop entrepreneurship skills and how the young entrepreneur or students can use their talent to develop a company or a startup, where Vijay Bhai will give you a glimpse of the how you guys can use your design, you guys can use your innovations for your career development or create a own entity. I won't take too much time, Vijay Bhai. You are waiting for and look forward for more questions, interactive sessions, and future collaborations as well. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Can you introduce 2 points which we are discussing about so that it feeds the motivation to the students?
Okay. We are planning to have a 3 day or 2 day kind of engagement where we do different technical sessions. One, we will bring global best practices in design specific to leather and footwear and accessories. Second, we bring that role of IP in your career development and entrepreneurship development, as you guys having a lot of innovative designs are in place. I have seen inside the campus. I never visited this campus, but I'm surprised to see that those designs were not used in a manner who can
So they are going to use like the
uh,
outside the design professional from the outside world, sorry, outside India, and industry also need a campus. So they arrange some workshops so that new people and the design people and industry people come together and work together for 3 or 4 days. Right? Thank you.
that is needed honest engagement, dedications, then, and it is engagement which will help you guys to grow further and develop yourself as an entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Unmute कर लो.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Yes. Last benchers? Yeah, we are going to speak about intellectual property rights, something which is very interesting beyond what you do in your labs, actually, but it is directly connected to you. So let me take this opportunity firstly to thank every one of you for joining in for this session. I know it's very difficult to come for a session. किसी को सुनना आजकल अच्छा नहीं लगता है लोगों को. Firstly, and second thing, post lunch session. I understand that, many of you I would rather love to sleep rather than attend or do a session here. But then I'll make a justice to your presence here in next 40 or 45 minutes. I'm going to discuss something which is very interesting, which we call as intellectual property rights. And this is something which is directly connected to our routine daily life as well. Each of the thing that we do since morning to evening, everything, whatever we do or whatever activities we get involved into or the products, everything has some IP value associated with. How will try to understand. And I just want, of course, we have a lot of people who have joined in through the virtual platform, but since we have a lot of people here, participants here, I want your participation, active participation actually. Okay, so intellectual property generally is about creativity as well. And do you know who are the best creators, or who are those participants, who are those active users, or who are the most creative ones? For me, the most creative ones are the backbenchers. The reason being, I was always a backbencher. Let me tell you, the backbenchers know one thing for sure. They know creative ways how to avoid the teacher. Because throughout my career, I have been doing this actually, or I was always a backbencher. I love to come up with creative ways. कभी हमने टिफिन खाया है स्कूल में last backbench पे बैठ के. So we know a lot of things basically. That's where creativity is something which is there with everyone as well. And when we think of this creativity, that's one factor when we speak of intellectual property rights. The word intellectual is about that creativity, art, or technology, or I would say anything which is new basically. Everyone has got a phone here? Yeah, anyone has got iPhone? Yes, I want that iPhone. Yes. Can I get your iPhone for a minute, please? Thank you so much. Is this yours? How would you prove that you own this? Pardon? No, but how would you prove? It's in my hand. I'll say this is mine now. I own this. आपकी फोटो लगी? वो तो मैंने फेसबुक पे ले ली. आपकी फोटो अच्छी लगी इसलिए मैंने डाल दी यहाँ पे. Yes. How would you prove that you own it? Anyone? Yes, sir. How would you prove कि ये आपका खुद का फोन है? मेरे पास सर बिल है इसका, इसमें IM. Here comes the right point actually. He has got a bill, right? जब आप purchase करते हो कोई भी चीज, तो you get a bill. That bill actually is a legal proof that you own that product basically. Now, जैसे आपने आईफोन का तो बिल लिया होगा, आपके अपने फोन का बिल लिया होगा, लेकिन अब जब शॉप में जाते हो और ये वाटर बॉटल लेते हो, इसका बिल लेते हो? क्यों? There is no value associated with this, right? So we take the bill for those things wherein there is a value associated. जैसे आपने normal चीजें, ज्वेलरी है, right? You buy jewelry or like you buy a house, basically आपने कोई बड़ी गाड़ी ले ली, so you get a bill for that. That's where the concept of property comes into play. Whatever has got a value actually, and what we speak of, the iPhone, the jewelry, car, gold, anything, that we call as a tangible property, which can be valued directly. But then comes another type of property. We call it as intellectual property. What we also call as intangible assets. Now, when you are developing a product, आपका जो idea है, आपके दिमाग में आपने कोई फैशन का प्रोडक्ट बनाया है, ज्वेलरी डिजाइन बनाया है, या फुटवेयर डिजाइन बनाया है, does it have a value, the idea? Does it have a value? Yes or no? Yes. Then why are you not getting a receipt for that? Where do you get that receipt for? That's what we call as intellectual property rights. We have a department from Government of India which would give you not the receipt but full rights, legal rights for your idea, your creativity, or your intangible assets basically. That is a broader concept of intellectual property. And lastly, the rights, legal rights for your intellectual creativity. But you would get it only when, or you would go for it only when there is a value associated with it, actually. That is the most important thing. Now, this is a broader concept, what we call as intellectual property rights. I have a very wonderful slide here. Can you see these faces? Can you tell me who is this? Kumar Vishwas? उनकी कोई 4 लाइंस फेमस है. कोई 4 लाइंस फेमस है, किसी को याद है?
कोई दीवाना कहता है.
सर एक बार हो जाए. You know all those 4 lines? जितना याद है गा दो. There is a reason why I'm doing this. Yes. माइक चालू कर, सबको सुनने दो.
कोई दीवाना,
ऐसे ही बोलो.
कोई दीवाना कहता है, कोई पागल समझता है, मगर धरती की बेचैनी तो बस बादल समझता है.
और 2 लाइन है सर, और 2 लाइन है, राइट? इसके आगे याद नहीं. चलो, बहुत अच्छा बोला, राइट? So these lines, you like these lines, sir? So there is a creativity involved into that. Now Kumar Vishwas is a creator, just like you are developing designs. Basically, he's also creator. By the way, you sang very nicely. 2 lines गाया, but बहुत अच्छा गाया, but किसके लिए गाया वो मुझे समझ में नहीं आया अभी तक. Okay, so Kumar Vishwas is a creator, right? Do you know who the second one is? What does he do? Everyone knows, right? Who is the third one? What does she do? Acting karti hai. Yeah, she's my favorite. Like, you know, I'm that so-called DDLJ fan. बहुत सी बार देखी है, मतलब मैं सारे forums में ये बोल सकता हूँ कि मैंने DDLJ इतनी बार देखी है. The fourth one. Someone said that? Funsuk Wangdu is the movie character, sir. Pardon? His name is Sonam Wangchuk. He is the person behind the so-called inspiration of the movie 3 Idiots. That right? And he actually has a Ladakh mein hai. If you visit Ladakh, surely. Absolutely, sir. I have a question here for each one of you. Can someone tell me who is better, Kumar Vishwas or Manish Malhotra? Who is better? They are different from the different fields. So can you tell from out of all these 4, one is better, one is not so good? No, we can't say that basically. So when we think of creativity, each one of them is excelling in their own areas, right? So when we think of intellectual property rights, because that intellectual creativity, so that's the reason we have to protect these kind of creativities. We have different types of intellectual property rights, and we are going to see these intellectual property rights with some live examples which are directly associated with you as well. Now these are, so many of these terms we already know basically. So honestly speaking, first term जैसे यहाँ पे patent use किया हुआ है. The movie 3 Idiots had mention of patents. Actually, there are 400 patents for Funsuk Wangdu, and he had this friend Chatur Ramlingam who comes down to meet him, right? Signature चाहता था. किस लिए? He wanted a license for the patent. Now, when we think of intellectual property rights, आपकी जो creativity है, उसको आपको legal right अगर मिलता है, no one else except you or except your permission can use the product or can use that technology or use that legal right basically. तो आपको अपने design का अगर legal right मिलता है, तो either you can market it or someone with your permission. How with your permission? They would give you some kind of royalty, right? If you don't have the capability to sell that product, someone else who likes the product and has the capability, they can come up and they can get a license from you, pay some kind of royalty to you. That's how the patent works. Copyright, like we have seen this in every movie, or I would say कोई भी आप book भी देखते हो तो you have C written in a circle. That is shown as copyright. We'll see what is copyright. It is mostly for the artistic work. Third is the design, industrial design, which I'm going to discuss in detail because that is the one which is useful for each one of you here. Then we have something called as trade secret. We won't discuss it because in India we don't have a specific law for that. Then we have geographical indication, a wonderful kind of intellectual property rights, but that is more connected to the agricultural product, handicrafts, or food products actually. And we'll discuss some case studies for that as well. To start with, we'll go with the design, industrial design. As I said, this is the most important type of intellectual property right for you. Now, industrial design gives you or provides you actually a recognition, or I would say the legal right for external outlook of the product, not the content or the utility of the product. So external outlook की जब बात करते हैं, it can be a shape, configuration, surface pattern, ornamentation, composition of lines or colors applied to an article, wherein the finished state appeal and are judged solely by the eye, not the content basically. And I believe each one of you can correlate to this very easily. This is exactly what you are doing. Yes, you are doing जो footwear design कर रहे हो, उसका shape, size या how does it look, color even. Fashion designing में same हो रहा है. Then leather में जब आप clothings बना रहे हो वहां पे भी same हो रहा है. I have a question to each one of you. Beyond clothes, what are those products which you buy just looking at the external outlook? Just external outlook देख के हम लोग खरीदते कोई product. What are those products? ऐसा नहीं, मुझे अच्छा दिखने वाला दिखाओ. What are those products? Jewelry, right? तो jewelry, in case of jewelry, what happens? मेरे लिए तो it has a silver, gold or diamond. तो उसमें pricing में जो difference आता है, if you go to one jeweler, he may not be in a position to give a specific design. But the reason being, it is protected by one particular designer, legally protected. This happens क्योंकि आप अगर किसी ज्वेलर के पास जाओ और उसे बोलो कि मुझे दीपिका ने वो मूवी में पहना था ना वैसा वाला दे दो, it may not be available because it is protected by someone else actually, right? Any other product? Clothes का मैं आपको स्टोरी बताता हूँ. मतलब ये होता है, मेरे साथ होता है एटलीस्ट. Whenever I go for shopping with my wife, कभी साड़ी लेनी है जैसे, तो like when we go out, एक कॉमन चीज सबके साथ होती है. एक तो बहुत सारी पहले देखनी है साड़ियां कि like you know कौन सा पसंद आएगा. At the end एक स्टेटमेंट कॉमन होता है, all females would agree and all males would agree जिन्होंने शॉपिंग किया हुआ है, including नाहिद भाई, that एक सेंटेंस लास्ट में आता है, भैया ये कलर में ये डिजाइन दिखाओ. होता है ऐसे? यस, ये डिजाइन इस कलर में चाहिए, मुझे ये कलर पसंद आया और ये डिजाइन पसंद आया. वो वहां पे जो डिजाइन की बात हो रही है, that can be protected under so-called industrial design. All fashion wears, all products that are related to clothing and all, they can be actually protected under industrial design. Industrial design protection आपको 10 साल के लिए मिलता है, which is extendable for 5 years. So आपने फाइल किया, वहां से 15 years तक आपके पास legal rights हैं. All types of intellectual property have different tenure or term. It's not an eternal, permanent thing नहीं है ये. For certain period of time, there is a monopoly created. Why is this monopoly created? Monopoly is created because there is an investment required, or there is a some kind of, I would say, creativity as well required for coming up with newer things, right? And to motivate that, to promote the innovation, legally created monopolies for limited period of time. And one of them is, as I said, is industrial design. We'll see some examples of industrial design. So we have this one person from Surat. Surat has got a lot of industrial designs, especially in this saris and these kind of sets. We will see a lot of examples. This one again another one. So there is a group actually who files all these designs basically. Then we have the big names. Look at this, Sabyasachi, right? They are also, so whatever new designs you come up with, if it is new, original, it is novel, original agar hai, then you can apply for an industrial design and you can get a legal right for that. And that's how the monopolies are actually created. We have another example from Sabyasachi. So ladies garment, we also have shown any product you prepare or any design you have, it can be protected under industrial design actually. Okay, it would add a lot of value actually. So we also have this one product which is t-shirt, like simple lag raha hai but isme kuch unique hai tabhi usko iska design. And these are the examples which are from the government of India website jahan pe design already register ho chuka hai. Okay, तो ये already हो चुका है. That means only black collection in Rani Bagh can use this design. You cannot use that. If you do, you will have to pay certain damages to that particular party actually. Now one part is protection. तो आपको पहले protect करना है अपना IP right. उसके बाद enforcement आता है. So that is your. So if someone else is copying, in that case you can stop that party from copying this particular design as such, and that is done in mostly in the courts. So this is all about the fashion industry. We have a lot of examples from the leather industry as well. So this basket, not the basket, but this one is actually leather material, and that's what they have protected under industrial design. Or leather shoes or leather socks, basically many product, every product from leather. Again, what is getting protected is the outlook, external outlook. Content क्या है उसकी बात नहीं कर रहे हम, right? This is protected under industrial design. Let us go to footwear. In footwear, all the big names, everyone is protecting it under industry. Aqualite hai, Paragon hai, Relaxo hai, all these brands, all global brands, Adidas, Nike se leke sare brands, everyone is protecting because that design may be unique and it can create a lot of opportunity for you because you would get a monopoly out of it, right? So that's how the industrial design actually works. Then we have this from Liberty. There is this guy Mukesh Kumar in Delhi. He has also got this footwear. So there has to be some uniqueness in that design, the way it appears basically, right? The best part of industrial design is it is very easy to get actually, right? And then we have the shoe sole. Anything that you do actually in the footwear designing basically, that can be protected for sure under industrial design. So this is the first type of IP right. We saw different, right? This is the first type of IP right. Now patents is another type of IP right, wherein for your creativity or for research based activities basically, you get a patent. It has to be scientific technology. Okay, and that technology, not the design, but that technology should be new, or the process for preparing that technology should be new. That's where you get patent rights for. Patent rights can be given to, so most of those industries which are research based industries, pharmaceuticals hai, chemicals hai, biotech hai, IT hai, all these industries are dependent on this kind of IP right, which is called as a patent actually. Jahan pe the product itself is new. Okay, be it a composition nutraceutical food product or be it an instrument basically. Okay, yahan pe hum jo bana rahe hain, that is more suited for design purpose and not for the patent purpose. Patent mein kahan pe mil sakte, we'll see that, but before that, the requirements of the the major requirements for patenting are three. One, it should have an industrial utility. उसका कुछ तो utilization होना चाहिए. As in, it has to be either manufactured by the industry or it has to be manufactured for the industry. Industry में use हो रहा है या industry खुद बना रहा है, right? That is one condition. Novelty, everyone knows novelty. Like नया होना चाहिए, कुछ तो नया. When we speak of novelty, it's an absolute novelty. Although you are developing a technology in India, एक नया instrument बना रहे हो, but the novelty is assessed globally. दुनिया में कहीं पे नहीं है, then only you would get the patent rights for that actually. That's how the novelty is assessed, what we call as an absolute novelty basically. We also have this concept called non-obviousness, which is also called as inventive step. नया तो है, but it is predictable basically. In that case, you won't get a patent for that. It has to be unpredictable. The technology or the process has to be unpredictable actually. So these are the three criteria for getting patent. I have not got examples, but I have got some, I would say, listings actually in the footwear industry, because we have got very less patents in the footwear industry. Because जहाँ पे actual research चल रहा है, product research, not the design research, okay? वहाँ पे उनको patent file किए हुए हैं. Like for example, dual purpose footwear, क्या है? We'll need to see. Obstacle removing footwear device, उन्होंने कुछ अलग बनाया है. Footwear में, to remove the obstacles, they must have done some kind of, so this would be more of a fabrication, more of a mechanical engineering as well, which would be involved beyond the footwear or actual product basically, right? So we have a lot of examples like this. IP India search, so you go to Patent Office India, search, you would get a lot of all patents like this actually. And if you want, you can get connected with me. I'll share you actually different types of patents that are there in the industry. Fashion mein, again, more of, I would say, design, but there are, when I searched with fashion, there were actually not much relevant patents, I would say. जो लोग आप काम कर रहे हो, उससे relevant नहीं है ये. These are different things. So like, I searched with the word fashion and I had, because in that fashion, similar fashion, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, वैसे वाले हमें यहाँ पे मिले. Fashion style recognition using visual attributes. Fashion recognition using visual attributes. Some kind of probably software they are speaking about. Yeah, right? So these kind of things are, but nothing directly connected to fashion basically. Leather, when I search for leather, it is more for I would say material, the leather material or the research in that material or content would be protected under the patents under the leather industry. Otherwise, all products that you are developing or designing would be protected under only industrial design. And that is the important type of IP which is relevant to all the institutions which are connected to FDDI basically, right? So these are the two major types of IP which are relevant for your industries actually. We have three other types of IP. We'll see what those types of IP and what is the significance as well. So we have this GI. Has anyone heard of GI? Yes, what do you mean by GI? Don't read this. Can you tell me one example?
That is special or available in that particular area, geographical area.
Absolutely. Can you give me an example? Basmati rice from Dehradun se basmati rice. Okay, I don't know whether it's protected under GI or not. Madhubani paintings, yes. Darjeeling tea, Rasgulla, chicken curry from Lucknow. कहाँ से सर? हमें भी खिला दो कभी. Absolutely.
Kadaknath chicken Jhabua. Kadaknath chicken Jhabua.
That cannot be protected under GI, by the way.
Yeah, it is in GI.
Animals or the living things
No,
cannot be
it's in a
protected.
GI. They got the GI tag.
Pardon?
They got the GI tagging.
They have protected and under GI?
Yes.
You must be knowing.
Yeah.
Dr. Vandana Shiva made an initiative towards this after Tulsi, Adrak, Neem and everything.
Okay.
That is why the GI bill was passed.
Okay, but then what the example you mentioned is?
Basmati.
No, Basmati is fine. The other one, chicken, Kadaknath chicken.
So it's a Kadaknath
No,
chicken. It's a Kadaknath chicken. It's a GI
Achha,
tag.
okay, Kadaknath chicken may not be the right example because human living things cannot be protected under GI.
No, it's the location
something-
was actually, if you go through the you can do the Google for that also. Yes.
Let me check that.
Yeah.
But
Yes, you can.
yeah,
You can.
honestly speaking, I'm not a GI expert. Shouldn't comment this, but generally I'll tell you what is the concept. The
No,
quality
actually,
of the product has to do with the location. Either the quality. So when I say location, it is either the soil of that place, the climate of that place, or third important thing, the local skill set, manufacturing skill set. When someone mentioned Kolhapuri chappal, therein in Kolhapur in Maharashtra, we have specific, I would say, cluster or people who have that skill set to prepare that chappal. Basically, when we think of the agriculture products, lot of agriculture product we have, there it has the quality of that product has to do with local soil or climate.
Kentucky is the name of the place, right?
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
So
in
no,
case-
that may be a brand.
Right. So we to we cannot
So-
substitute what he's saying. Might not be that scale, but still that is. But
So
Kentucky is the name of a place, right?
wait a minute. So so if that product, so that's what I'm saying, the ingredient or the skill set, either the ingredient, one of the ingredients is from that place, or the skill set of the only local people. That should be unique. I'll tell you some examples of this. The GI basically, as I said, it's more from the agriculture sector, more from the handicraft, a lot of food products. So we have Kashmiri Pashmina, the local skill set, right? Kangra tea, Kinnauri shawl, local skill set. Malihabadi Dashari Aam, or we also have in Maharashtra the Alfonso mangoes from Konkan region. So the same product from different location can get GI based on the quality of that product basically. And GI are community rights basically. So like, if there is any, so not directly connected to design, but if there is any specific skill set at one location and wahan pe wo cheez famous ho jati hai, it can be protected under GI, and entire community at that location would get the legal rights for that. So every member can get the legal rights for that actually, right? So we have all these examples from GI. Next is copyright. We have all the books, movies, the novels, the poems, paintings, drawings, photographs, sculpture, dramatic works, which is more of artistic, can be protected under copyright actually. So we have the newspaper articles, anything what you write as a research paper or a review article, anything you publish as a, I would say, जो आपके website पे है, उसके भी rights है. The best part, ये जो live session चल रहा है, there is a copyright getting created out of this, right? Now, this recording has a copyright. Now, who owns the copyright is one of the fundamental questions that is asked in every case basically. Who owns the copyright? अभी इस session का copyright किसके पास है? FDDI के पास है. If you want a copyright, have you got the permission from the one who is presenting? Has he agreed to give the copyright to you before presenting? We don't mind about all these things. That's absolutely fine. But what happens when there is a value associated with it? Then, agar aap ye video, when you, let us say, put it on YouTube, start earning money out of it, I have a question, because it is used for commercial reasons, purpose. There is a value. That's where the copyright actually comes into play. So generally what happens in case of copyright, the one who creates it owns it. The one who creates it owns it. That's the golden rule for copyright generally. But we have a lot of examples. Each one of us is actually a creator. We do take a lot of selfies, right? How much money would she have earned out of this one picture or one blink of an eye? Probably मेरे 20 साल के career की salary से ज़्यादा, right? So if I tell you, that's true, sir. Now if I tell you, आपने जो selfie लिया है वो किसी competition में भेजा है and you have got a 1 million USD का prize for that. The very first thing is, do you have the right to prove? तो जहां पे commercial value या business की बात आती है वहां पे it is very essential that you should protect it under intellectual property rights. And the important thing for us to understand is what is the right type of IP for your activity. If you are a scientist, if you are a singer, if you are a writer, if you are a poet, if you are a fashion designer, if you are into footwear designing, if you are into actually making some products from leather, what is that right type of IP basically? Because every creativity is different. So this is just one example of how copyright can give you a lot of value associated with it. So we saw patents, we saw design, we saw copyright, we saw GI. The last one that I'm going to discuss is trademark. So what is generally known as, like, we see it as R in a circle or TM written over a product, right? Each one of you have to check, tell me, show me one product. आपके बैग में देखिए, आपकी पर्स में देखिए, कोई एक प्रोडक्ट मुझे दिखाओ जिसमें R लिखा हुआ है इन अ सर्कल और TM लिखा हुआ है. Yes, you have one. Distillery, I got one example. Yes. R है, yes. In your purse, in your bags. Sir, वो भी चलेगा, वहां पे भी कहीं लिखा होगा. इस पे भी लिखा है. Right. Now, पेन पे लिखा है, just show me. It's R or TM?
R.
It's, what is the brand name? Cello. Absolutely, it's a brand. Anything else? आपकी water bottle पे होगा, देखिए. No? यहाँ पे है. Okay, you have it for thumbs up as well. So what does it denote basically? Trademark. Wristwatch पे है sir? नहीं. Okay. Trademark is something which denotes a product based on some kind of symbol or logo or some kind of, I would say, it is an identity of a product basically. It's not a product itself, it's an identity. What is this? खाने का apple है? So when you see this, what do you expect out of it? Technology, one thing. What else? Anything that when you see, how can you relate to this brand? High price, yes. Expensive, same thing हुआ. Quality, yes. What else? Latest technology. High status. So you are connecting one symbol with so many things, right? Now this is the value of a brand basically. Phone का जो price है, and let me tell you one example जहाँ पे we pay a lot of price for trademark or brands. Whenever we think of brands basically कि मुझे एक specific brand का ही product चाहिए, we are paying higher premium because of that value actually, right? I'll tell you one example of trademark which may be very local kind of example. I belong to a very small town in Maharashtra and we have a local pizza shop जो 10 साल से वहां पे ऑपरेट कर रही है. We get good quality का pizza actually. Means I like that pizza actually. Like, तो उसका pricing भी ठीक ठाक है. I can afford it very easily. Now there is a new shop recently which has come up, which is Pizza Hut, just adjacent to that local shop. Now when I go with my daughters, one is 2 years old actually and the other one 10 years old, उनके साथ जब जाता हूँ ना, अब उनको लोकल पिज्जा शॉप में नहीं जाना है, उनको पिज्जा हट में जाना है या डोमिनोज में जाना है. मुझे एज एन इंडिविजुअल टेस्ट दोनों का सेम या सेम तो नहीं बोलूंगा, सिमिलर लगता है. टेस्ट 19-20 से ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है. तो मेरे लिए तो सेम है, बट if you look at the pricing, there would be a huge difference in the pricing for people. What we are paying for the extra bucks are for the value of that brand or the trademark actually, right? So trademark also works in terms of licensing. All these big brands like have got the franchisee options or the licensing options, जिसके through they earn a lot of money out of it actually. Like that's how the trademark system actually works. So trademark can be anything which denotes a product. आपने जो भी product बनाया है, design बनाया है, and after that you give it a name basically. Like for example एक fashion design का series बनाया, उसको आपने कुछ अलग नाम दिया है. That can be protected under trademark. A logo can be protected under trademark. What is this? M देख के आपको मैकडोनल्ड से याद आता है. I am loving it. That is a tagline basically. I am loving it. जहां पे भी देखते हो दूर से सिर्फ M लिखा हुआ है, and my daughter 2-year-old says Papa MacD. Right? That's how it works. The value of a brand basically. Right? So there is a lot of value when you can't establish, I would say you can't आपको business बहुत आगे तक नहीं लेके जा सकते. That point of time the real value of trademark comes into play. एक product एक जगह पे local restricted है, but if you want to take it ahead to other markets, in that case trademark helps you because it will be brand building. Yes, scalability के लिए absolutely as well, right? And we have global brands nowadays. Like pre-91 we didn't have global brands actually. सब देसी था, but post globalization now if I travel from here to airport, सारे brands global जितने available, I can see the shops. And so these brands, when we say, everywhere you notice are written in a circle, that means it's a registered trademark actually. And if it is TM, that means it is unregistered actually. I believe this is my last slide, and this is one product. Okay, what all types of IP are involved in this? Packaging is into design, industrial design. Material may be into patents. Color of the paste, absolutely. Trademark हो सकता है. Colgate का नाम trademark हो सकता है, right? Patent हो सकता है with respect to the product basically. Yes, absolutely. वहां पे भी कैप का डिजाइन हो सकता है, इसका भी डिजाइन हो सकता है. Can GI be possible here? How? उसका एक ingredient कहीं से लिया हुआ है तो. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So, one product can have multiple IPs as well, for sure. Also important to understand. The intent of this entire session is to let you know that how to choose the right kind of IP for your kind of creativity. जहां पे हम फैशन की बात कर रहे हैं, ज्वेलरी की बात कर रहे हैं, डिजाइन्स की बात कर रहे हैं, फुटवेयर डिजाइन्स की बात कर रहे हैं, क्लोथिंग की बात कर रहे हैं, the right kind of IP should be industrial design, the first one basically, right? That we saw. So this is what I have for all of you actually. Like I believe it was simple yet very effective in terms of understanding, in terms of, I would say, it is directly related to our life actually. Every product, जैसे मैंने सर को बोल दिया AC की तरफ देखने लगे, कहाँ R लिखा हुआ है. Every product actually is a part of trademark. It can be part of copyright depending on the industry basically. And जैसे मैंने सुबह सर से बात किया, he was always speaking about patents. I said, so sir, we have more opportunities in designs basically because we are designers, right? Most of you are actually designers. So I'm done with my session. I would love to have any questions actually. I just have one last slide because I got this opportunity to represent ASSOCHAM, and so we are working with some of these institutions for various activities. We work with academic institutions. So we do a lot of patent and design filing as well. So we are working all across India actually for various activities, and these are some of our collaborators for my organization, not representing ASSOCHAM as such. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm open for questions. Any questions?
On करो, on करो.
Any questions from Chindwara,
उसको दबाओ, white वाली.
Jodhpur? Yes.
नीचे
please.
white वाली बटन दबाओ, push करो, हल्का. ऊपर साइड. थोड़ा ऊपर साइड हल्का सा push करो ऊपर. हाँ.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, there is one, not question, but query. How to do copywriting? If suppose talk about the any pictures or something, if I click any picture and I wanted to make it copyrighted. So what is the process?
Okay, so there are two things. The copyrights are de facto rights. You don't need to register it firstly. The moment you create it, you get the rights for that. But if there is a value associated with it, and if you want to go through the copyright filing, actually, you can get in touch with any of the lawyers or copyright office pay e-filing options available, electronic filing. It's a very simple process. You can just browse through that and you can get in touch. Or if you don't want to do on your own, you can get in touch with ASSOCHAM IPFC as well. We provide these kind of facilities. Does that answer your question? I have to look here now. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Anything that is predictable, not common.
Yeah. Okay. The predictability or non-obviousness, basically. Okay, I'll tell you an example of non-obviousness with a very simple example, inventive steps. Yeah. So, just a hypothetical example. So, my daughter, when she was 8 months old, for the first time she started eating. First day pe, she had a piece of an apple actually. A piece of apple she ate. Thoda sa like khaya usne. Now that was new for us. Novel था. हमने भी pictures लिए, Facebook पे डाल दिए, Twitter पे डाल दिए, Insta पे सबको WhatsApp पे share किया. Hey, Shreyasi, my daughter ate a piece of apple actually, right? Now, this is new novelty when we speak of. Of course, this thing cannot be patentable. But just to tell you what is predictability or unpredictability. So, Shreyasi is smart like her mother. What she did, next day, she ate a piece of pineapple. Now, the question is, Shreyasi eating pineapple, is it new? Is it novel? Yes or no? She had never eaten a piece of pineapple. But now the predictability, the question is, a child, 8-month-old child, if she can eat an apple, she can eat pineapple as well. Right? That's the predictability. Now how to show unpredictability, I'll tell you. So Naid bhai ne bahut baar suna hai ye. So third day, so Shreyasi is also smart like her father. She has to, right? Third day, Shreyasi, she's a deadly combo. Okay. Third day, Shreyasi ate a bite of ice cream. Thoda sa usko taste karwaya. Now the question is, Shreyasi eating ice cream, is it new? Yes, it is new. She had never eaten. Is it predictable? Yeah, the child doesn't know, right? That's what the controller would say जब हम लोग patent file करते हैं. Controller would say, the child who can eat an apple, can eat pineapple, can eat ice cream. But I tell the controller that ice cream is not a fruit. So, predicting a child who can eat an apple or pineapple, you can't predict that the child, so I can predict that the child would eat any kind of fruit, but not the ice cream. The controller is smarter. Controller says, ice cream has a fruit flavor. And that's how the prosecution goes on. That's how the prosecution goes on in the patent office. Then, what I try to do basically in case of unpredictability to show inventive step or non-obviousness or unpredictability is I try to differentiate my product with the prior art. So in this case, of course, this is not patentable, but just to let you know how does unpredictability work. In this case, I'll tell the controller, firstly, the apple and pineapple were at room temperature. Ice cream was frozen. The child may not understand the difference between ice cream, apple, pineapple, but उसको temperature का difference तो समझ में आएगा. As well, the first product was kind of in, I would say, let us say solid tha, yeah, like, and ice cream is in semi-solid, semi-liquid, whatever you call it. But it's not solid or as well as liquid. Yes, please.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, absolutely fine. I'm just trying to tell you the differentiating. See, वहां पे हम predictability बोलते हैं. It is predictable basically, right? That's what is called as obvious. हमें non-obviousness जब show करना है, वहां पे we have to show that it is not predictable basically based on the literature. Okay, so that is basically for the products or processes, right? The example that I gave was just to let you understand. Yes, please. Yeah, we have.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
It was a wonderful session, sir. It was very informative. I have a question on copyright. I would like to explain it through a case, my question. And there is a movie in which a writer writes a dialogue and a comedian delivers it, and it becomes the pop culture reference. Everybody uses it. It becomes a meme, and it is the talk of the town right now. And I am a third person who is not at all associated with the film, and I decide to make a T-shirt, like a design printed on a T-shirt in which the dialogue is printed, and I am selling it, making a value, money out of it. Does the creators of the movie or the person who delivered the dialogue has the capacity to file a case on me because I am using their creation, or I have the capacity to copyright my design, which was not originally my creation? I got inspired from their dialogue or whatever it is. So in which case, what can be possible?
So I'll answer your question in two parts. The first part, would the movie producers or someone file a case? If they have a copyright, they can file a case. But in an ideal situation, they won't. The reason being, in fact, you are branding their movie. Right? Indirectly, you are branding their movie actually. And answering the second part of your question, if that is, although it's inspired, so copyright is very gray area actually. You can't say yes or no directly. If it is inspired, but it's not a replica, or if it's original. Now, when we say in case of creativity or something like what you mentioned, the originality definition is very wide actually, and it has to be analyzed, I would say, case by case. Thank you, sir. It has to be analyzed case by case, knowing the facts actually, and that's how but yes, it is possible for you as well to get a copyright, but it may not be for the everything actually that is part of the movie, but it's based on what you have created actually. So for the same thing, we can have multiple kind of copyrights created. I'll tell you an example. हमारे जो annual social gatherings वगैरह होते हैं, वहाँ पे like if you are doing some performance, we also call it as a performer's rights basically. वो भी protect हो सकते हैं copyright के अंदर. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
One question from my side, like when we create a design.
Hello.
When we create a design, so what is the minimum differences should be there so that we can file for the copyright, or
the design part? Yes.
How many minimum differences is required in the
so this is very, I would say, generalized question. Until and so to what extent it is different, that is important actually. As it is, if you are just making it 10%, 20% difference, probably then they would ask you to cut down that part. But then the remaining, if it is like for example, remaining is original, they would give you the right for the remaining. Like, so it is very, I would say, It cannot be a generalized question. It has to be answered again, exactly looking at the product and the differentiator basically. Right? Thank you. Yes, someone?
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So in this copyright section, you showed the picture of Priya Variyar, who became popular with her blinking of her eyes. So if that can become a copyright, can smile can also get copyright?
So the example that I had given, was of the picture actually. It was for the picture actually, the blinking picture basically, or that video of 5 or 10 seconds actually, and it had nothing to do with that specifically the blinking. I would say smile cannot be protected under copyright. Yeah.
Okay. So my second question is, like you saw, you again showed a list of some institutions who has a tie-up with your organization. So if FDDI wants to have a tie-up so that the college students start working on these IPR things from the beginning days, what can be the process for that, sir?
Absolutely, and that's the reason I think we have got this arrangement, or we have got this session today. We are collaborating with, as an ASSOCHAM is collaborating with FDDI, and for sure I'm directly connected. Oh, of course, I have my own organization, but I'm directly connected to the IP team of ASSOCHAM, and we are doing that for sure. And that's and this is just the beginning, I would say, for everyone. Especially for the faculties or the students as well. I'll tell you how students can also get benefited. I have wonderful case studies actually. Time hai ki nahi? We have. I can tell you one case as well. But I would take questions first. Yes.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. This is Abhrajit from FDDI Chennai campus.
Yes, sir.
Sir, my question is, how can I apply for a particular patent for a design? And what are the benefits I'll get if I patent a particular design?
Firstly, design ka patent nahi hoga. It is so it's either a patent or industrial design basically. You have to choose that first. How would you get benefited? Okay, this is what I was going to tell you through one story actually. So there was this one student who was doing her masters in Mumbai University. She was a university topper from Mumbai University, and she was very proud of being a university topper actually. She was applying for a fellowship, which was travel grant for UK for one of the conferences, and she was pretty confident. Mumbai University ki topper hu main, to mujhe milega wo, right? I'll get that funding basically. So there was only one position actually. There was only one travel grant. So that when she came to Delhi from Mumbai for the interview, she was surprised to see there were 50 students like her who were university toppers from different universities actually. She called me from there, and so she was one of those students at undergrad level. We had filed a patent for her. Okay. And when she went for the interview, she was a bit nervous when she realized there are so many university toppers. How are you going to distinguish, or how would you differentiate yourself? And there is only one position actually. I just told her, you go inside, face the interview, come back. She went inside, only 2 questions were asked. First is, why did you file the patent? And secondly, what are you going to do with your patent? She could answer those questions. She was actually very nervous. मेरे को कुछ पूछा ही नहीं. They didn't ask me anything. She came back, and let me tell you, out of those 200, she was the only one who had a patent filed. Forget about granting, patent filed at undergrad level. She was the one who got that travel grant. Honestly, if you are looking for a job, many of you would love to go for startups or entrepreneurship. If you have IP rights with you, these would be your rights. It would be a recognition, as well as it would be a legal right, as well as it would help you in terms of building your CV as well. Legal rights is one. Probably you would understand what I'm speaking after 10 or 15 years, and then you would think, I should have protected my rights that point of time. When you see that your creativity is getting copied by someone else, आपको अच्छा लगता है, मेरा product, my product is everywhere. But you feel bad when you don't get credit for that. That credit, I would say, can be very. So upfront you take this opportunity to file the designs, file the patents or your IP rights basically. Does that answer your question to some extent?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Hello, sir. I'm
Yeah.
Khush. I have to ask you something like if I'm registering my company, my brand, so how and where will I know that this name already exists?
I think that's a wonderful question. So we have the trademark office wherein you can check whether your name is already registered by someone else or not. Okay, so trademark search, just Google trademark search, but you need to know the class of your trademark as well. Firstly, for the students, I have two. Of course, on one side I spoke about creating new things, protecting it. The second part, I would also like to tell each one of you that actually using someone else's creativity is a legal offense, and it is not, of course, ethically and morally it is not correct, but legally as well it is not correct to use someone else's creativity. Maybe like at times we see this with students, like ki time come hai, I have to submit my project, just getting it copied. These things happen at times, so you should keep yourself away from these kind of things. This is unethical, not morally not correct, as well as it is illegal as well. And under Copyright Act, in fact, there can be a criminal case as well for the copyright actually infringement if you're using third party. So if you download a movie from a torrent website and start selling it at 10 rupees, that's an offense. You would be behind bar for that. In fact, the question generally is how many of us watch the movies on torrent websites? Actually, nowadays it's blocked using some technologies and all. But let us say 5-10 years back, every movie Friday release or Thursday it's on the channel or some kind of website actually, right? So this is also one message that I have to give. Yes, yeah. Does it answer?
What is the difference between a sold copyright and a transferred copyright?
Sold and transferred copyright. It's like I'm selling my property and I'm renting it out. Transferred is sold is to third party completely. I'm assigning the rights to the new party, and transferred is ownership is with me. I'm just giving it for some license. Yeah.
Sir, I have one more question.
Yes, please.
Sir, does it include logo also? Like if I'm making some logo and it is similar to some other company, how can I know that it is already existing or similar, something like that?
I think that's a really wonderful question. Reason being, this is the case that happens with logo designers. I didn't know actually these things, but 5 years back when I wanted to create my own brand, I went to a logo designer and actually he asked me almost for 25K. I said 25K for logo designing is a huge amount, but the person, he doesn't only create that logo, but he ensures that it is unique or original. It's not copied basically. For you, if you are creating your own logo, you can do it through the trademark search again, as well as what you can do is you can also do the Google image search, which would give you more idea about your logo. And the extent of similarity and differences also need to be evaluated when you design a logo. Does that answer?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
In the case of similarity, someone can sue us?
Absolutely, sir. Yes. Chetan Bhagat had sued although the book, उनकी खुद की book के ऊपर थी movie, but for the movie 3 Idiots he filed a suit. Of course, that was settled later. Yeah. But that is possible actually. That happens.
That means similar.
Similar, yes. Not same, similar के लिए भी, depending on what kind of similarity you have and how much is the difference basically. And again, a lawyer would actually play a lot of role in evaluating this when it goes to court.
So what if I sell my copyright design to someone else and that second person is selling it further to more people. So will I be getting commission from that?
I think when you transfer your rights, that point, so it's like I tell you, I rent you out and my apartment, and आप उसको किसी और को rent पे दे रहे हो. मतलब आपके, like in that apartment you would have, instead of 1, 3, 4 different students who are staying, right? It all depends on the kind of deal I would have with you while transferring the right, while licensing, okay? But when I am like, you know, selling it out to you, you can decide what you want to do.
Rent can be also given while the copyright design is given.
So yeah, for any kind, IP is like your normal property. It can be licensed out very easy. Yeah.
Sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, Dinesh from Chennai campus. Sir, what is
Yes.
the cost of filing this application for trademark or for patent, for everything? Is there any?
Yeah, so government institutions are like, you know, for academic institutions now the government has reduced the fees by 80% actually. I'll tell you rough estimate actually. It would depend on what kind of agent or lawyer you would have. But in case of patents, the cost from filing to grant may be anywhere between 60 to 80K, 60 to 80,000. In case of trademark, it may be 10 to 15,000. But in case of design, it may be anywhere between 8 to 10,000. That's the average cost actually, including the attorney's fees and all.
Is it necessary for having attorney?
Yes, I think that's an interesting question. You can file your own IP right. IP office, Government of India doesn't say get a IP attorney. You can file on your own, but remember that in case of patent, so all these are legal rights. उसमें कुछ legal चीजें होगी. Like for example, you get an examination report. How to reply to that basically. It would be more or less like a techno-legal document. Understanding your technology or what you have done, design, and the legal part of that. So the one, like I'm a patent agent, I have read Patent Act, I'm practicing patent, I'm practicing design. So but then I understand the technology, I can file a patent. But suddenly if it is a technology which I don't understand, I cannot file the patent. So similarly, it's not mandatory, but it is recommended if there is a value associated. But if you know and up jugadu ho, so called, then you can file on your own. You don't need an agent like me.
So for that, it's for industrial design or for the patent?
Everything you can do on your own. Everything. Yeah.
But you should know how to write a legal paper.
So no, specifically when you when there is a prosecution, what I told, the difference between an apple, pineapple, and ice cream. How are you going to justify it, basically? Right. There would be a hearing as well at times. Yeah. Anyone else? Chennai, Chhindwara, Jodhpur, Fursatganj, Rohtak, Patna, Hyderabad, Kolkata.
Another question.
Yes, sir.
Once the design patent is granted or the industrial design, that is given the grant, how long it will be there for you for the minting the money? Or
yeah. So for design, it's 10 plus 5, 15 years. Patents, it is 20 years. Trademark is forever. You have to renew it every 10 years. GI is also for 10 years. You have to renew forever. So the Reliance name would be forever with the Reliance Industries.
So why for the Reliance forever?
No, trademark, the logo, identity of that brand. Yeah, that trademark. So it's a basically legal thing. It would be with them only forever.
After 10 years, we have to renew it.
Renew it. So if you stop, then anyone can use it, but they would renew it automatically. Yeah.
Fees.
Yeah. There is a fee, sir. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Just wait a minute. I'll take this question and come back to you. Yeah, please.
Take a design of somebody else and make minor changes in it. And so how much
difference should be there? I think I answered this question. It cannot be answered it cannot be a generalized question. कि मैंने किसी से inspire होके 10-20% percentage, I cannot define it. But looking at the product, I can tell whether it may be possible or not. Generalized question, I feel I can't answer. Yeah. Yes, please.
Hello. Sir, this is
Yeah.
Priyadarshini from Chennai campus. How long it would take to grant the patent after filing?
Okay, in case of patents, general process takes 3 to 4 years, but now we have expedited examination or normal, wherein it can get granted within 1 year as well, 8-10 months or 1 year as well. A bit of extra cost of 10 to 15%. Design के case में design is very easy actually. At times it can get granted through 3 months itself without any examination actually. So in case of patents, since it's related to technology, it may take a bit longer time actually. Yeah.
What about trademark, sir? How long it would
So
take?
trademark, same thing. 6 months you should get your trademark, but at times it gets stretched because of the examination or the hearings and all actually. Yeah. So, but generally 6 months because there is a three month lag period as well once it is published for opposition. After that, it gets registered. Yes. Hope that answers you, Priyadarshini.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions? Other centers, any questions? No questions? So I ask Ananya to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. It was a great pleasure listening to you and learn so much from it. I hereby take this opportunity to thank you on the behalf of our administration, our HOS, our HODs, faculties, and students who were captivated by you. Thank you so much.